microphones off. Let's start. Okay.
Yes.
Hey, everyone.
Wait, close the door.
And there's going to
a
be an
jingle.
intro music, yeah. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the podcast Undercurated. This is the first episode, so I'm going to do a podcast, and I'm your host, Elif, if you don't know. You probably don't know, because I'm not famous.
Not yet.
Not yet. So all my hopes and dreams are bound to this podcast.
All right.
And you're my first guest.
Yeah.
No pressure, but like your performance is gonna set the example for other guests and
Okay,
episodes.
so it's going to be very low, so everybody can just...
And it's gonna have a direct effect on the success of this podcast.
Okay.
But like no pressure.
Okay. All right.
So we are in our place. This is a homemade podcast. As, I don't know, 90% of the podcast. We don't have a garage. If we would have a garage, we would do the podcast there. So,
Yeah.
But also, we're not Americans, so we don't need to. Yeah, exactly. So how do you feel about being my first guest?
I'm very honored, and I'm very excited, to be honest. Like a little bit nervous because I don't know, maybe in 5 years or something like that, 10 years, there's gonna be maybe like 1 million people listening to this on Spotify or whatever. So
5 years.
yeah, I would give it 5 years.
5.
I was about to say 5 months, but that's not realistic. I mean, it took you almost...
Why am I gonna get 1 million viewers after 5 years?
It took you 1 year to just buy the microphones, so...
So, okay.
So that's... I mean, yeah. So maybe
Yeah.
I made like approximately 5 different episodes in 5 years, and then that would be a pretty... that would be a pretty good success rate if you have 1 million listeners then in 5 years, I would say.
Okay, so, yeah. Well, I'm not gonna oppose because I was slow. I mean, it's exactly 13 months since I told you that I decided to make a podcast. And last year in November, I decided to make a podcast, and I did like a very realistic time plan that I was publishing my first episode in December last year. And then by now, it was gonna be already like 1 million viewers, but some things got on my way. I couldn't do it. Corona
Happened.
exactly.
Always
Yeah,
been Corona. You didn't have time, so much...
the world
too many
stopped.
Yes, exactly.
What could I do?
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
Yeah, like the vaccine.
Exactly, blame it on the vaccine.
Exactly. Like I'm still waiting for it. So when I heard the developments on the
I
vaccine,
haven't brushed my teeth just because I'm waiting for the vaccine for like, I don't know, since March.
yeah, I mean today, I realized that I didn't brush my teeth in the morning, and I just brushed my teeth for the first time just 1 hour ago.
I'm happy about that since we're sitting so close to each other.
I was thinking of you, but also then you made a tuna salad.
Yeah, true, yeah.
And I didn't brush my teeth afterwards.
But we're
so
in
no
this together.
complaints. What?
We're in that one together.
Exactly. So it's fine. That was actually really good. Always eat the same things with your guest before recording your podcast. That is just one of my advice to the young people out there who want to make their podcast and thinking of, but what about like if my mouth smells bad, and what if the guest, blah, blah. I know this is a huge problem. So just make sure you eat the same thing with your guest. Throughout the podcast, I'm gonna keep giving advice about it. This is just
About
the first.
Bad breath, or
Bad breath. Bad breath in general. Bad breath.
that could also be the name of the podcast. That's a cool name, actually. Bad breath. You could do a podcast
Like
where you have people in a very small room, and then you decide to eat something that's very disturbing, and then you talk with them about some very serious topics, and then you have to film it, of course, and then you like see how long time is the person gonna stay in the room.
And true, it can also be like the point of view of the microphone.
Yeah.
Because the microphone is exposed to this bad breath.
Mm.
Exactly. That's a good idea. That could be my second project, my side project, the Bad Breath podcast. But exactly. So that was a good intro. What do you think?
Yeah, I think
I
great.
think
Great.
we're.
What's the average intro of a podcast normally? It's like 30 seconds or a minute? You must have done some research.
I only listen to one podcast. I never listened to a podcast in my entire life. And I decided to make one. Yeah, exactly. So when people ask me, first of all, I told everybody that I'm going to make a podcast since a year, because I did that on purpose, because I wanted my friends to keep asking me after a while, hey, what did you do with the podcast? And I wanted to feel a little bit pressure, so that every time I didn't do anything about it and someone comes to me and like, what about your podcast? You told me you're doing it. I was like, and I didn't feel any pressure, and I just kept waiting. And then asked me like, what is it going to be about? It's super hard for me to describe, because I thought, I'm just going to invite my friends and we're going to talk about it, and then someone's going to like it. So this is just... What do you think about this?
Here we are. Yeah, here we are.
I mean, we're fun people. Don't you?
Moderately fun. Let's see. I guess it's relative.
We are super fun. Everybody, just tune in. So just, I don't know, two friends talking, having fun. I think the feeling of a good conversation. I mean, I love listening to podcasts where two people just talking bullshit. I don't know, some people don't like it. Some people like more like informative podcasts, or I don't know, like where you get learn something, you get information. I can assure everyone that no one's going to learn anything from this podcast. It's going to be
nothing of value, at least.
Nothing of value, just bullshit. But I just want to be that it's going to be like the opposite of the small talk.
Yeah.
Like two people just who wants to talk to each other and have a like nice conversation and spend good time together, and then that resonates. Oh my God, the problem. Okay, so I'm gonna solve this problem until our next episode. Yeah, Benjamin. So we are living together since 1.5.
Yes, 1.5 years.
A little more than one. Like September.
Oh yeah, September. Yeah.
True. 1 year, 3 months.
Yeah.
We're doing pretty good.
I would say here we are. I mean, we're sitting here, so.
Yeah, exactly. And you're my first guest.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So I just to put a little context in it. Do you remember the first time we met?
Yes.
I hope you do.
Yeah, I do. It was at this Korean restaurant.
Yes,
yeah,
my
exactly.
favorite.
Yeah, it was nice. It was very intense in some ways, because it was not only you. It was like a whole bunch of people.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of people who were actually kind of opposing what my intentions were, which was coming to Berlin and living with you and Best.
Yeah, I remember that.
So on top of the element of like being nervous about meeting you for the first time and meeting like Best's best friend, but also meeting my new potential roommate. But I don't know, actually, did we decide already then? When the apartment came up?
Good question.
Was that?
No, we didn't decide.
I think
No. You did. Okay, so I'm just putting into context. So Benjamin and my very good friend Beste, they're together. They're a couple, and we were just gonna move in together with Beste in Berlin, and then that is also by the time you and Beste met and become closer, and then you were in a relationship, and then you decided that also you join us and you move in with us. And I think that day it was already decided, because I remember the people were
because people were saying outside the restaurant,
crazy.
saying like, what are you doing? You shouldn't do that.
Too early.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly.
What did you feel like when they told you like?
I didn't know, because I think they were saying it in Turkish to Beste, but she told me afterwards.
Yeah, I didn't hear that too.
Yeah.
So we were there in that restaurant, my very, very good friend Melih, and he had guests from Istanbul visiting Berlin.
Ah, yeah, true. Yeah.
And so it was kind of, people just got to know each other, and then Benjamin arrived, and then we told them like, yeah, he's gonna move in with us. They just met, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, they were like, Beste told me later that everyone's saying like, that's something crazy to do.
Yeah, it is also a little bit crazy. By that time, I think we had known each other for 2-3 months. Maybe not even 3 months.
You met in June 2019?
We met in
May.
Yeah. And we moved in here in September.
This was August, I remember.
Okay, yeah. So 3 months.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy, yeah. But I don't know. It wasn't a big deal for me, to be honest, because I had tried it before, and I don't know. I'm just kind of a happy-go-lucky kind of person. I just try out things, and then I mean, I thought like maybe it's not going to work. Then I can just like find another place to stay. But I didn't want to.
Did you have a backup place?
No.
Good.
Of course not. Of course not. But I was completely relaxed about it, actually. I was mostly nervous about how it was going to be to be in the context of 3 people. The dynamic of Beste having a very strong tie to you because of your long friendship, and then of course also having a strong tie to me. And how is that dynamic going to be? Like, I didn't want to interfere in your relationship, but I was also hoping that I could have like a normal kind of dynamic with Beste. So it was more like that constellation I was thinking about, but I think it's turned out more than fine.
Yeah.
I think it's like very harmonious.
Yeah, very harmonious. It turned out to be very fine. I'm very happy that I get to know you, like, and live with you. Like,
yeah.
Absolutely.
And the second time we met was at the festival also.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That was also good. That was kind of also an icebreaker.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember. Yeah. Oh, those were good times. It was the summer. A lot of people. Good music. Yeah. Well, here we are in winter. And today we had absolutely no sun. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it was very gray.
It was dark gray.
Yeah.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? We're in Berlin, so I am grateful to every sunshine that we have. It's not that bad. It's not like every day we have dark gray, but it's like...
Yeah, but today was bad.
Today was one of those bad days. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so that's how we met. And things are going pretty fine. And I'm happy to be living with both of them. And Beste is going to be my second guest. So yeah, I'm happy about that. Yeah, so I had a...
Is Beste doing the jingle?
I don't know. I'm absolutely going to ask her. So I thought this jingle thing, I record some like a scat thing, voices on top of each other. I'm just going to try things out. I have to do this. Maybe I'll do it next week or something. And then I'm going to ask her how to produce it. It's so good to have a producer.
Yeah.
2 producers, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
2 producers at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should do kind of like a Curb Your Enthusiasm kind of jingle. That would be fun.
I heard that. I think maybe we told you the story. Larry David hears this song like in an elevator or something, and then he doesn't know who does it belong to the song, and then he goes back. He has this idea of making the series, and then he tells his people, and then he doesn't know anything, and he just mumbles the song, and then they find it. How do they? Because I never heard the song.
It's called Shazam.
You know this? Shazam.
It's an app.
When you mumble to Shazam, it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. But what could you mumble to Shazam in 2002?
No.
Was it 2002 or 2000?
Definitely not.
Something like that. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, so Lar. Yeah, so we're gonna go deep into your childhood in this podcast.
Nothing too serious, guys. Just a couple of traumas.
We're just gonna unpack all those black boxes, all the trauma from Benjamin's childhood. It's gonna be like all deep subjects, topics, theme. I don't want to like waste my time on the surface. So exactly, and I don't want to ask you also the same questions that you get always in your interviews, because you give a lot of interviews.
Yeah, this is my third
and you
interview
always
today.
get the same questions, right?
I'm so tired of it.
It's so boring.
Yeah.
Like, so that's why I had in mind, like, I told myself that do not ask Benjamin every other question that people are asking him all the time, again and again, in order not to make this podcast boring. So my first question is to you, that I really give a lot of thought into this, and it's like tailored for you. It's I just came up with this idea today. It goes like this. It's like, if you were in a desert island and you could only pick 3 things with you, what would those 3 things be? I know. I just came up with this question. So
yeah, it's very profound.
I know. I dreamed about it.
Can I think about it and then answer you in the end of the podcast? And it's also kind of a cliffhanger.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Now the producer is talking.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, let's talk about your childhood, which your childhood for me is the most interesting, because none of my friends have such a story when they were young. So when I first heard yours, I was like, really? It was cute.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting. So you were when you were 8 years old, you were head of a cult. How did that unfold? You were a cult baby.
I was a cult baby. Yeah.
Were you born into this?
Yeah. I had 2 parents who were as big. They were equally big hippies, but also very big on Christianity. They were super Christian and they were super hippies. So my parents, they decided to move to deep into the forest in Sweden with a bunch of other super Christian hippies, and basically established like a dance and theater collective that was aiming to tell all of the positive messages from the Bible about love and stuff like that, and kind of interpret the Bible into dance and theater. And they had some kind of funding from some churches, and they bought some minibuses, and they would like tour around in Europe and like do this kind of performance on the street.
They toured.
They toured a lot, yeah.
So, but your mom and dad were the head of this.
Yes, because my father, he was, my mother was a ballet dancer, and my father, he was more like a project manager kind of guy, but also very much into all kinds of arts. So they made that. It was fun. It was people from all over the world, like from Canada to Japan to Eastern Europe to, I don't think that there were anybody from the African continent, and also not from the South American continent. But besides that, I think it was like basically a little bit of everything. And yeah, it was crazy. I could speak like 3 or 4 different languages.
Really?
Well, I could like say hello and stuff like that when I was 4 or 5 years old, because I had so many different babysitters from different countries. Yeah. So, but it was also kind of weird because we were living in this forest, but we were still, there were still like the Swedish societies in the 90s, and we were like far out. We were not like near any kind of cosmopolitan vibes. So it was also a very rough environment on the other side of those gates. I went to a school outside.
You have a relationship with the outside. Okay.
Yeah, we did a little bit, but not much, because it was not. I mean, we were definitely the freaks out there in the forest, and we would come into the city sometimes and had to go to school also, as the only kid actually. And yeah, that was not.
You were the only kid?
I was the only kid who went to school. The other kids were too small, or they got schooled at home or something. I don't know. Yeah. We were like 10, 15 kids within the community. But I was the oldest one.
Okay.
So, and yeah. So it was weird going from like that kind of safe haven and going out into this like 90s Swedish. It's kind of like True Detective vibes out there, actually.
Were there a lot of orgies going on?
What does a super Christian orgy look like?
A super Christian orgy looks like they're all wearing white. They're
not having sex.
They're just stroking
they're hugging
each other.
Yeah.
And they're hugging.
That happened a lot.
And then they, yeah?
Hugging and stuff. Yeah, there was lots of love all the time. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Orgies, I don't think so.
No. Sacrifice, any animal sacrifice. Like any kind of midsummer vibes, none of them? Were you kind of relating to Midsummer when we were watching the movie?
You mean where the old people are jumping off from the cliff and this guy goes with a big hammer and smashes him in the face?
Exactly.
No, not really.
Oh, okay. Well,
not really.
I thought it was like happening all the time.
No, not really.
Okay. But when you were touring, how you were going to the school then?
That's also the thing. I had kind of I have a bad record with the schools. I wasn't so much in school.
You were absent.
Yeah, I was absent, and I didn't also really, I was very much absent.
And then
it was not good to go in that school. I mean, I got beaten up a lot in school.
Really? Yeah. How were they perceiving you?
I was that Christian weird freak, and I was also like dark skinned and stuff like that. So it was like.
But how did they know that you were coming from that the forest?
The whole village knew who we were with those freaks. You know, it was like.
Was it? Could you tell by your outfits or stuff?
No, I mean, I think I also kind of. I remember that I was trying to tell the other kids in the school about Jesus and God and stuff like that. And
really?
Yeah. And
God.
I remember once that I was like trying to tell one of the guys that like Jesus is all over the place. Like he's like in this room right now, and I was like trying to teach him, and I was just imitating what I've heard my parents say. And while I'm saying it, he just punched me in the stomach. It's like,
there you go, Jesus.
I don't want to listen to your Jesus shit. So that was kind of, I went to school kind of naive, thinking like it's it's all about love all the time. But how primary schools can be. It was fucking
super cruel.
War zone. So
it's the animal kingdom over there.
Yeah, exactly.
Horrible.
Yeah.
We would also get into physical fights in elementary school. I remember it was violent. I mean, that's the only time that I got into fight. I also didn't get into fights in high school or. Now I don't get into fights, but back then I really remember I would fight with someone, like usually it would be guys. It would never be girl to girl fight. With a guy, I was fighting with them and I was like punching them in the stomach, or they were punching me in the stomach, or like slapping and kicking, and we could die maybe like while we were fighting. What was that about? It was. I remember one time we were 3 girls and there was a guy and we were fighting. We were having a discussion or a fight with him. I don't remember. And then we got like so angry that we attacked him and ripped his shirt apart.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I don't even remember why. And then I feel like a badass girl, like a fighter girl. I don't know what I was trying to do. And I was like, you're gonna see. And then I ripped his shirt. And then I go back home and then the doorbell rings and this poor guy and his mom are at the door and the woman has like his shirt in her hands, and she was very polite. She was like, "Why? Why would you do this to him?" And my mom was like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna get him a new shirt. I'm so sorry, my daughter, blah blah blah." And then she really was incredibly angry with me. She was like, "What the fuck do you think you are? Like, what the fuck is this? Where do you think you live? No one does that. Where did you see this? Like." How can you behave like this? And I was like, yeah, okay, I guess that was too much. I didn't know what I was doing.
You got caught in the moment.
I got caught in the moment, and then my mom told everyone in the inner and greater family, and all of these people made fun of me for like 20 years. Ooh, Elif is coming, like, hold on to your shirt, she's gonna rip it apart. Everyone was making fun of me. Oh, gangsta is coming. Yeah, that was not good. But yeah, okay, so they knew you came out yourself actually, like telling them about Jesus.
I did, that was my big mistake.
So you were there until you were 9? Or?
Until I was 9, yeah.
And then what happened?
We moved to Denmark because my parents, they wanted to. Well, first of all, as with so many other idealistic missions, it got down to money in the end, and they didn't have more money, and people kind of just like started leaving the collective without paying the bills. Ooh. And then my parents, they had to pull the plug, basically.
Oh, they had all the debt.
Yeah, they had, and. I also think they thought maybe it was time that I would like start going to a normal school and meet my Danish family and stuff like that, since my family is in Kenya and Denmark and not in Sweden. So yeah, that was kind of it. So we moved to Denmark. We didn't have a dime on our pockets. We stayed in a camping, like in a trailer in my parents' backyard. That was fun. That was fun because my grandparents, they had like a lot of...
In your grandparents' backyard?
Yeah, grandparents' backyard. That was cool because my grandfather was a pilot, so he had shitloads of money, and they had a swimming pool, and they had a freezer that was always full of ice cream. So it was
a
perfect.
Child's dream. Yeah. Jesus.
Yeah. Exactly. Hallelujah.
And when did you got back on your feet again? And got a place and... Yeah,
it took a couple of years, and then my parents, they bought a house south of Copenhagen.
So then you attend the school there?
Well, I ended up in the beginning also in a Christian school, but since they were more concerned about learning me Bible verses than like math and stuff like that, I got taken out of that school and I ended up in a normal private school, where it was just about, learning. It was a good time for me also to get there because I was starting to get in my puberty. So the whole thing about girls and stuff like that, I mean, I couldn't really unfold that in the Christian school. That I would get kicked out immediately. So.
So when did your relationship with Jesus changed?
I guess it changed when I was a teenager. When I saw my parents being more relaxed about it, I was also getting more relaxed about it. And we stopped going to church every Sunday also, and we stopped, it just stopped being a big part of our lives. It has always been a part of our life in some way. I think nowadays for me it's just more like a cultural thing in some ways. I have it with me, but I mean, I pray sometimes.
Really?
I pray. If I'm like, if I really feel that like shit is hitting the fan, I'm really like in some big kind of problems. Or if I'm very worried about somebody, I pray. I pray actually for my family in Kenya pretty often.
But you pray to Jesus or you pray to God? How is it?
I don't really pray to, I don't like address it to anybody. I just, I guess I'm just like saying things, wishing things, and then I'm like, sometimes if it's really bad, I would end it with saying Amen. Exactly.
Do you do this?
No.
No?
That's the Catholic people does that.
I have no idea, man. What were you?
Protestant.
Okay. So.
Yeah.
Okay. I used to pray also. Although we don't pray in the family, but I was learning it in school. And I used to pray a lot. Actually, I mean, because I'm coming from an Alevi family, there was almost no religion in the house. And everything that I learned from school because we have mandatory religion classes in Turkey. And I had several religion teachers, and some of them were really freaky. And I remember one of them when there's a long prayer called Ayet al-Kürsi, and he was teaching us that, and he told us that in order to get rid of the jinns that haunt you, you have to say this prayer every night before you go to sleep, and when you finish the prayer, you just puff like in front of you, back, left, right, up and down.
Okay.
So you're puffing the jinns away.
That's so fun.
That's crazy. Yeah, so I was doing that a long time, I remember. But
until how old?
I would say between 11 and 14.
Okay.
Yeah. But I was extremely afraid also. Like, I didn't think about the jinns before, and then this guy is telling me they're gonna hunt you, so you have to puff them away. And I was like
like a hairdryer, like.
Get the fuck away from here. Yeah, it was, wait, my headphone. Yeah, okay, now. So I was
it's very warm in here. You're like wearing a t-shirt and wearing like a hoodie.
Yeah, because I also turned up the heat.
Yeah, why?
Because I'm wearing a t-shirt. And I only think about myself.
Wait a minute.
Okay. All right.
We're back from commercials.
So, yeah, that was freaky. Okay, but I also had a relationship with religion when I was a kid because of school. And I was also thinking always like, why don't we have like religious stuff in the house? Like, why is no one talking about like praying or like, I don't know, anything? I was upset with it like for 1 year or 2 years, I was like really into Islam.
You felt like you were missing out.
Yeah. I was like, all these people's like, all these people are like praying, and then they're fasting. They're doing this. We don't do any of things. Like I was developing some kind of sympathy to a part of Islam that me and my family don't belong to, and then my family didn't say anything. They were like, "Yeah, do whatever, whatever, girl. Go pray and go get go get rid of your jinns." Yeah, and then
I mean, that's such. I mean, if I was your older brother and I saw that you were like starting to get concerned about the genies, oh my god, that's such good Big Brother material for like freaking
making
out.
fun.
Like fucking with the sister. Really?
Yeah, I mean, they weren't at home, and I think I wasn't telling this to my parents. Maybe I wasn't hiding, but I wasn't saying like, "Hey, I do this new thing every night where I get rid of the genies. I pray this prayer and blah blah blah." I don't know, but it was funny, and I don't know. So I got rid of it.
Okay.
I don't believe in it anymore.
You don't believe in genies?
I don't believe in jinns.
Okay.
You?
I believe in ghosts.
I know. Tell me more.
A lot. It was actually until recently that I thought that there was a ghost in the other side of our backyard here. But we kind of came to the conclusion now that it's not a ghost.
Who are you talking about?
The woman.
The woman?
Yeah. Who's always sitting. Maybe you can explain.
Yeah, our living room window is looking at a courtyard, and across there's another apartment block, and there we always see in an apartment a woman sitting in the kitchens together with the living room, I guess it is, kitchen table with her back turned to us and not moving, and always wearing the same thing.
Wearing the exact same thing, sitting in the exact same position.
Yeah.
Every evening for a year.
Yeah.
Until 45 minutes ago, 1 hour ago, we actually saw her for the first time moving around properly.
Yeah.
And she was wearing a hoodie.
Yeah,
So-
she was wearing a gray hoodie.
But maybe the ghost just changed the outfit. I don't know.
Right. So
No,
when did you first realize her?
A year ago, I think.
Really?
No, I have no idea, actually. I have no idea. But I think I've never met a ghost. Oh, well, maybe I've met a ghost once, but I'm very concerned about meeting a ghost. There was once where I'm pretty sure that I met a ghost. No, I heard a ghost. I was trying to sleep and I heard somebody walking.
How?
In the room.
Where?
I heard somebody walking. I heard the floor is like, you know the apartment in Copenhagen I lived before?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was trying to sleep in the living room because we had some guests who were sleeping in my room. And I heard somebody walking and I looked up and it was my friend, Naeem. And he just had to pick something up and he went back again to the room. And then I heard him come back again, walking once more, but very slowly this time. And I was 100% sure that it was him again because I could hear the feet pressing towards the wood. I could hear the wood like make this squeaky sound.
Mm-hmm.
And I look up again and there's nobody.
Okay. So what did you do then?
I turned on Netflix. I had maximum volume on Netflix, and I just prayed that there wasn't like a ghost that was gonna fuck me up.
A ghost that's gonna fuck you up.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, good that nothing happened.
Yeah, that was awesome.
You could be dead.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
Actually, once
yeah.
I was also invited to go to a castle to stay for one night. One of my friends, he...
Hold on. You were
Commercial?
invited to a castle?
Yes.
What the fuck is that?
Yeah. My friend was working at Noma, which is this like very fancy restaurant.
Okay.
And he got invited because the chefs at Noma, they get treated like animals. They work like 80 hours and they get a shit pay, and they like, you know, they basically treat them like modern day slaves. And then sometimes they buy them off by like giving them like gift certificates to like other nice restaurants. So there was this castle where there's also a Michelin restaurant, and they gave my friend a gift certificate to go there. 2 people to have breakfast, lunch, dinner, and breakfast again, and then you could usually go back. And you could stay in the castle. Like the purpose is to stay at the castle and eat this food. But it's also the most haunted place in Denmark, apparently. My friend invited me, and I said no. Because of
this?
Because of the ghosts.
How?
How should I relax and enjoy a meal if there's like a ghost waiting around the corner when I go to the toilet or something?
First of all, how did you come up to the idea that that place is haunted?
It's officially the most haunted place in Denmark. You can look it up.
What is official? Where is it like announced that?
Google.
Oh. It's officially the most haunted place in Denmark.
Yes. Look it up, man.
Where does this information come from? Hogwarts?
There's a
Who?
All I know is that there was a woman who cheated on her man many years ago, and he did an extremely cruel thing, which is that he like bricked her into the wall, and she died inside the walls of the castle. And she comes out in the night, and when there's men sleeping in the hotel, she stands by the end of the bed and she watches them. And lots of men have tried this before. They wake up and there's a woman standing at the end of the bed looking at them. Hells no if I'm gonna try that. Hells no. I don't care how many Michelin stars. They could have 500 Michelin stars. I'm not going there. No way.
You could try the food, go back home, and then come again. Like, how many days was that? You didn't need to stay there.
I don't know. Then you go to the bathroom and you like wash your hands, and then you look up in the mirror and she's there. No.
Okay, so who went to this?
My friend brought some other guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They smoked a bunch of weed and they slept.
Did you ask them if they saw a ghost?
No, because they smoked a bunch of weed after they ate and they slept throughout the night and nothing happened.
Okay.
So they were safe.
Okay, so ghosts, I know that it's a big theme for you. I mean, okay, so you rejected that. Do you have any other experience?
With ghosts?
Apart from the walking ghost?
No. I've only heard a lot of scary stories from other people.
Did you watch The Conjuring?
No.
But you don't like also scary movies?
I hate them. Scary movies and like going skiing, for instance, also like I don't understand how people find like how can you enjoy skiing? What's the concept of going for vacation somewhere where it's much colder than where you are and you can break your arms and legs? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I mean,
why would you watch a horror movie where you're gonna be scared for like 90 minutes?
It's the adrenaline, man. I love it.
It doesn't make any sense.
I adore horror movies. Okay, so, but you don't like I mean, for instance, I don't understand amusement parks and like roller coasters and stuff. It's a no for me. I can never ever. But that's also the same thing. It's the adrenaline. But I can't do that one. But I can do the other one. So I have my preferences of adrenaline.
Okay.
What do you feel about amusement parks?
I'm a big fan, actually. Yeah.
You're not afraid or...
No.
Of the roller coasters?
No, not really.
No?
But it's also many years since maybe I got older. Like sometimes when you get older, like you have these superpowers when you're a kid. Like for instance, I could always dive underwater without having to like hold my nose. I can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
That was like a superpower I had as a kid. But not anymore. So maybe also I'm not gonna be able to like go on a roller coaster without puking or crying.
Could be.
Or both.
We should try next summer. I don't know if around here are there any amusement parks? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah. It's not a German thing, maybe. Or?
It must be a German thing. Everything is a German thing. It's such a big country.
Yeah.
But not here.
True.
Probably like southern Germany.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, but coming back to the reality from ghosts, which is not a part of reality. So you came back to Copenhagen, and then you started school, and then you also have this history of your political activism. Like, when did that start? In what age, and with who, and why?
Yeah. When did that start? I think it started when I was 17, 18 years old or something like that. And I guess it comes from my parents being very idealistic about something. I kind of grew up with this, like, because my parents were, of course, my heroes. Or not of course, but luckily, for me, my parents were my heroes. Mm-hmm. And I think that this thing about believing in something a lot was kind of inspiring me to be very engaged in like different political topics, and also be like a little bit activistic about it. So yeah, when I was 17, 18, I moved to Copenhagen, and I started hanging out in some circles where, like, if you meant something about something, you would also do something about something. That's how you, like, show that you mean it. Mm-hmm. So that's how I started. And then for kind of, I guess, obvious reasons, because I mean, if you're going to be political, you're going to go right wing or left wing.
And you, of course, went right wing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I ended up 10 years undercover as a Nazi. Mm-hmm. And now I'm living here with, like, protected identity. No. Yeah, so it came from my parents, definitely. My father has a very strong sense of justice. Mm-hmm. I also have that, which is also kind of can be our, like, Achilles heel sometime. And my mother is very much a dreamer and a believer, and it's just, like, extremely positive about everything. So yeah, that combination made me ending up in these circles. And yeah.
Were they like your high school friends, like the?
No, my high school friends were definitely not. That was not a place for me to be political. I was in high school from I was 15 to I was 18, and then I moved to Copenhagen when I was 18. Mm-hmm.
And before that, where were you living?
South of Copenhagen.
Okay.
Like in the suburbs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You moved to the city when you were 18.
Yeah.
And maybe that also triggered a lot of things.
Yeah. Like triggered what? What do you mean?
Your political activism, because probably there it was more active and.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah. And there was this big movement going on. There was, like, a squatted house called the Youth House that was about to get evicted. Mm-hmm. And
Jacob was living there. Is it
yes,
that one?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Hey, Jacob.
He's definitely gonna listen to this. He loves listening to podcasts.
I know.
Yeah. So I was hanging out in Copenhagen, and I heard about this thing about these young people living in a house where they were trying to, like, create their own space for the outsiders in many ways. And this super fundamentally Christian woman who was a complete nutcase, or is a complete nutcase. Sorry, I shouldn't say that women are crazy, but let's be being political.
This person who was a complete nutcase.
This person.
Pausing for political correction.
Yeah, exactly. No, but I would say she was a fundamental Christian, and she had an epiphany that she had to buy the building and she had to tear down the house, because everybody that was, like, alternative and punks and stuff like that were demons, and they had to be eradicated. Mm-hmm. So she managed to buy the building, and then after a lot of lawsuits, she managed to get, like, the law on her side to
evict the building. She buys the building.
She buys the building to evict the building and tear it down. It's an empty lot now.
Okay.
the house was one of the most important cultural places for Copenhagen, like ever. Some of the biggest Danish punk and rock bands and also electronic music artists had their upbringing in this house. You could basically come there and you could like be a part of a community where you could feel home and safe. And it was a creative space, but it was also, of course, also it was full of punks and stuff like that. And it was also, you know,
as it should be.
Yeah, you know. So anyway, this woman succeeded with that, and she got it torn down. And I think that was also for me, a big catalyst into like, okay, that was so unfair that she did that. She raised that money only to tear down that building where a lot of people had really built their lives, and a person which I would meet a year later, which is Jacob, who is now my bestie. He lived there, and yeah, it's crazy. You should actually invite him for the podcast.
I will,
and he can he can tell about that. I think it's kind of his domain. I'm not gonna say too much about it, but yeah, it was not fair. So
yeah,
and yeah, from there on, I just started hanging out in these environments, and it was nice to have something to like be engaged in, other than just like trying to figure out what to do with my life, with work.
Yeah. I mean, that's always. I don't know. I was thinking back to the days where my left-wing political opinion started to form itself. I think I was around the same age. I mean, I come also from a left-wing family, so that was obviously always with me. But then I even got more radical than my parents. At the age of 17, 18, I think it was. But I think that I never had the... I was more on the theoretical side of the academical discussion part of the this political activism thing, because I didn't have a group of friends who were on the streets and were active, rather than my cousins were also one of my cousins was very active, and in the family it was always there were always political discussions, like always, but I was always like it's interesting, it was more of a passive thing. I was reading always about politics, basically reading and discussing with people all the time, but I was never on the streets, you know?
But that's not completely true. That's one story.
With Gezi, yeah, that was...
Which is much more intense than anything I've ever tried.
That was
You went from like 0 to hero on that one.
Yeah, that was interesting, because maybe all of this energy that was waiting inside me to explode just collected to that day when when they started to cut the trees on the Gezi Park, and this whole demonstrations got bigger and bigger and bigger, and then the park was occupied by activists for like 2 months, I guess. I was there every day for 2 months, and then that was an interesting feeling where I lost any sense of what one does in a daily life. Like, I don't know, meeting with your friends, going to work, I was working, or just going shopping, like watching a movie, everything just vanished. It was just this. I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna stay there. And then after that also, I never had that. That was so interesting, like how determined I was, like, and I couldn't hear anything else from anyone. Like, I couldn't hear like my mom coming and telling me, today I lost my earring or something. I was like, I can't hear this right now. I'm going to the park. Like none of the daily problems of our daily life were relevant to me anymore. It was all about that. So that day when we became hostage in this hotel was also, I was insisting. I was with my friend Burcu. Maybe later you watch this video, and we went there, and then we were always having these rumors like the police is gonna do a last attack, like the biggest attack, in order to shut this down. They were always attacking every day, but this one was gonna be a big one, so we were always hearing. So the rumors, and then people started talking in the park, like, oh, I think they're gonna come, they're coming, blah, blah, blah. And then Burcu was like, yeah, let's go. We were here for a while, let's go. Let's not stay for this. And I was like, no, let's wait a little. They're not gonna come, but I know they're coming and I just don't want to leave. I just want them to see attack or something. I don't know, I don't remember.
You're kind of drawn to the disaster.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I was also like, I didn't understand why wouldn't anyone be drawn to a disaster right now? Why anyone would want to leave? Just stay the fuck here. And then we stayed, and the police attacked, and then we ran away into this hotel, and they kept us in the basement and locked the doors on us so that the police couldn't come in.
They couldn't find you.
Police couldn't get in anyway. They didn't let them, and they did not have the right to get in, so that's why. But then we waited there for like, I don't know, 5-6 hours until morning. Even more. Actually, it's like 12 hours or something. And then we had like no internet.
And how many people were in the basement?
There were also different rooms, but I think it was like 200 or something.
Yeah.
There was like pregnant women,
Crazy.
Kids.
Crazy.
Elderly, I don't know, everyone was there, and it was like full-on panic attack mode. Information coming from every corner all the time. They were like, shut down your phones, delete all your photos, hide your national ID, and tell them blah, 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 blah. There's coming instructions from every corner, and you're like, okay, what should I do? I deleted all the photos I should do this now. And so then we were safe, and then in the morning we got out, and then it was over because they were like gas bombing the whole night. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we went out, and we were also like soaked in gassed air. And I remember we were like taking a shower in order to like get this tear bomb gas out of our skin. And I was like, am I gonna get cancer?
Yeah.
Like, am I gonna die? It was like all over my body.
Yeah.
In my eyes.
Yeah.
In my mouth.
It's
like,
horrible.
Horrible. It's really bad. Yeah, but then it didn't come back after because it's still going on. I mean, that had a very large diameter, but it's always active in Turkey. There's always something.
Yeah.
So.
And they ended up cutting down the trees, or they ended keeping the trees, right?
They were planning to build a kind of mixed-use retail and hotel, I think, kind of facility there to reconstruct a military base from the Ottoman Empire time. And in order to do that, they need to get rid of the park. They started cutting down trees, and then the demonstration started. They stopped, and then the project is not realized until today. I see that, I think, as a success of the project, although...
That's amazing.
Yeah.
One of the few times where these demonstrations actually work.
Yeah, it was of course it was never revealed that okay, you did demonstrations and therefore we're not building this project. There was never a moment of victory like that ever. And after demonstrations ended, they were always like, okay, the project is coming, it's gonna be realized, blah blah blah. And I'm not hearing it anymore, but I'm also not up to date. I should check. I don't know. They already might have built it. It's
Okay.
You can never trust anything in regards to the decisions of the city in Istanbul, unfortunately. Yeah, so that was that. That was interesting, but
so you also have some street activism.
Yeah. I mean, when I was a kid, we had a lot of them actually. With my parents, I was always going, but they were always peaceful. Like there wasn't ever any like an attack or something. There were just demonstrations. But this one was the only violent one when I was so scared that I would shit my pants. Like I was so fucking scared. And I never was scared of anything in my life than that period of time, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they can do anything to you. You don't want to...
Especially in like a riot situation like that is kind of scary.
Yeah.
Anything can happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
it was the same in Copenhagen when the police evicted that house also. It was also super scary. I remember I was sleeping somewhere outside Copenhagen. I took the train in the morning, and I came to Copenhagen like maybe 2-3 hours after after the police had like evicted the building. They had arrested everybody who was inside the house, and now they were like in the process of I don't know, whatever they were doing, and like not only the street in front of the house, but all of the neighborhood and also other neighborhoods, everything was on fire. And it was like for 3 days, the whole city was like burning.
Whoa.
It was like a war zone.
Whoa.
They had to like get police in from all of the different parts of the country. And it was like super exciting. Like I was a young man, like running around like, wow, what is this? But it was also super scary. And I remember for a long time after, I got super scared every time I heard like a police siren, because I would think like, okay, now like something is gonna happen again.
Paranoia.
Yeah, exactly. Like a very small doses of PTSD or something.
Yeah.
From being like in streets like that for like 3 days. Also because that never happens in Denmark, you know. It's a fairy tale country, some would say.
Yeah.
But those 3 days were I guess I think they said it was the 3 most violent days, or like most since the Second World War.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's big.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Very big.
Yeah, it's scary.
And then what happened afterwards?
What happened with me or with the house?
Yeah, with the house.
After a couple of months, I think, or maybe after a couple of weeks or a couple of days. This is many years ago now. The house got torn down.
But it's good that I have my face back.
Your face? Oh yeah, that also happened. Have you seen some of those TV shows in MTV, like Jersey Shore and stuff like that?
What?
Jersey Shore?
Jersey Shore?
Yeah.
What is that?
No? I'll show you.
What are you trying to say?
Nothing. You should just explain what happened yourself, and then I can...
Yeah, so I never do makeup, and I wanted to do makeup. And I just bought a bronzer, and I don't use bronzer. I don't know how to use it. So I applied it to my face, and then my face was orange. Like completely orange. And then I started crying, and I ran to Besta, and I told her to fix my face. And then she applied some other stuff like sticks and blushes and highlighters to my face, which became worse. And then my face was like orange and brown and white and like, but like brown here, orange here, yellow there, pink here. Like it was like a patchwork. And then I was like, and then Besta said, maybe you should wash your face and let's try this again. And I was like, fuck no, I'm never washing my face. But then I looked at once more in the mirror and I was like, this is not gonna work. So I washed my face and I did the things that I know, just like putting an eyeliner on and like a mascara and blush.
And you look great.
Thanks. But I didn't. I also thought like maybe I should do the podcast like maybe from the video people couldn't tell, but I think they could tell like the patchwork effect of my face. I don't know. Anyway, I want to learn how to do makeup.
We'd also have those funny filters from like Instagram or something running like on our faces while we're talking.
Yeah. True.
That would also be fun.
I'm gonna with my renewed Adobe subscription, I'm gonna master all of those programs and become a illustrator / cinematographer / producer / content creator / lawyer / model / actress, one of those people. Well, is there anything else you want to say? World peace?
I've been thinking about what I should bring to the desert island too.
Exactly. Do you have it?
Yes. I have 2 items. The third item... Yeah.
The third item is the most important one.
I would bring a Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And I would bring the Quran.
Mm-hmm. Is this a joke?
No.
Okay.
Because I mean, if I'm on an island, I know I'm gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
Then when I die, and I believe in life after death, I'm gonna be like, I don't know who I'm gonna meet, but I need to do my homework. So I'm gonna read the Bible. I'm gonna read the Quran. So no matter who I'm gonna meet on the other side by the gate, I can like I have like that's
you smart ass.
Yeah, right. And the third item, I don't know, a very cold beer maybe. Yeah, a very cold beer.
Before you die, maybe.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Maybe a 6-pack. I would bring a 6-pack, the Quran and the Bible.
What a trio. Okay.
And a picture of Besta, of course.
Inside the Quran.
Yes.
I mean, that's also one piece.
Yeah.
Because Besta and Quran belong together and everyone knows that.
They're like this.
They're like this. So, I remember a joke. Actually, one of my ex-boyfriends, who says that? My ex-boyfriend told me, but I'm not sure if this is his joke or if this is a comedian's joke. If anyone know who this joke belongs to, I'm gonna reference it after, as if someone's listening to this podcast, but whatever. I have hope. The joke was, I don't understand atheists. Like, why take the risk? Just say you're believing.
Yeah.
And then if it's really there, then you're going to be on the safe side. If it's not, then it doesn't matter anyway, because there's no life after death. So why risk?
Exactly.
So that was exactly your approach.
Exactly.
Why risk? Get me the Bible, get me the Quran, with Besta's photos inside, and a 6-pack. See you on the other side. Or not.
Exactly.
At least I'm going to have my 6-pack.
And I'm going to have something to read, So.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, it depends on how much time you have on that island.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Okay.
What would you pick?
can't we pick like a human?
Of course.
Can you?
Yeah.
Okay, then I would pick.
I mean, yeah. Okay, you can. Yeah, I can pick a human.
I would just, or maybe I would pick one person, because if I pick two person, then maybe we would have disagreements and it would get wild and one of us kill the other one or they kill me. I don't know.
Like a Lord of the
That
Flies
would be dangerous.
situation.
But if we're two, we're not going to kill each other because we are all we have. Actually, like, oh my God, this is like a dream scenario for me, because having one person in a desert island is the dream of a codependent person like me. Like, they have no other choice than me. They can never fucking leave me. So it's like 100% safety on that island. So I'm taking a human, but I don't know who. But it's gonna be like my romantic and sexual partner. Duh. But a human.
What about a famous person?
A famous person. Oh my God! I know who am I gonna pick. The one human is gonna be. I'm so excited. The human I'm picking. Okay, the human I'm picking on a desert island is David Blaine. I adore him. And can you imagine? He lived in ice for like 3 days. He is never going to die. He will also protect me probably, and he would teach me everything. He would teach me like how to drink 20 gallons of water and keep it inside me for a month, or any kind of tricks to trick the animals, for instance, you know, like make them go crazy.
Or maybe he would just be like, I'm gonna sleep now until somebody picks us up. And then he goes to sleep on the beach and he just sleeps for like months and you're super bored.
Oh no, don't do that, David. Don't do that to me. No, that wouldn't be ideal, but I would love to be on a desert island with David Blaine. Absolutely. And then I would pick a pack of cards for him. And then what else he wants? I don't know. Like a balloon. I think he did like an ascension trick. The last work is
so he could fly away from the island. I mean, that's smart.
Yeah,
you can like hug him and you're like, oh,
yes, yes, that would be great. Okay, so I guess we all have what we need, and thank you for coming. You didn't come, but we're all living in the same place. Thank you for being the first guest of this podcast.
Thank you for inviting me.
Making time for me.
Yeah, it's cool.
That was fun.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah.
So, bye everyone. Until next time. David Blaine, if you hear me, I'm choosing you. Bye.